All right.
Yes, sir. What's going on? As you see, the full panel is in the building. Myself, the big homie Nick Shine, and big brother Detroit Mel is in the building. What's going on, fellas? How we doing?
What up, though?
30 seconds ago, Tyron Smith is officially a New York Jet.
Yeah,
got ourselves a left tackle.
Nobody care about no old beat up left tackle. That he is past his prime.
Hope that motherfucker tears ACL.
Oh, I would love Tyron Smith as a left tackle.
Hope he tears ACL.
Wait, whoa, man. We're not hoping nobody tears the ACL, but no, Tyron Smith. Hey,
I already did it, so screw you.
No. In all seriousness, I hope Tyron Smith does wonders for you guys. You guys have been needing a left tackle for the last
since the Brickashaw Ferguson retired.
Yeah, since that long, since the brick. Damn.
I mean, we've had Kelvin Beachum, we've had Becton. Yeah, that long.
Jesus Christ, that's been a long time. Anyway,
10 years, he missed one snap, and the one snap he missed was a trick play on the final play of the game of the last game of the season against Miami. So he only missed one snap, never missed a practice, nothing. The guy was always there. We were so spoiled by that.
What's good, Rod? Hey, just as long as y'all don't put a running back at a center, he's from the land of the Cowboys. Just as long as y'all don't do no foolishness like that. So.
Refresh me, who's Rod's team? Whose team is Rod's?
No, Rod is the Patriots, and they need serious.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, they need serious help.
Yeah. Those Patriots are doing about as good as America is right now. So you guys keep thinking.
They need serious help. But hey, anyway, y'all know the deal. Please go over to I.O.W Sports Network, Facebook, Instagram, most importantly, the YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe to everything. Everything's scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Let's get to it because our first guest that we have joining us is not new to the show. And dare I say, he is a student of the game. Should I say that? Yes, I should dare say that. But he's not necessarily a Jaguars fan. He just happens to cover them. They kind of help sign the check, so he knows a lot about them. But let's bring him in, the one and only Kyle Nash. What's going on, bro?
An honor, joy, and privilege of jumping in. Hey, listen, by the way, the only time I'm more excited to talk about beef at the beginning of a show is if it's a cooking show for grilling. You guys talking up. Listen, I'm not even Aaron Rodgers fan. Just excited to think he might last more than 4 snaps this season with Tyron Smith in the building. No, I'm just thinking it's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. And if I'm the Jets and I have any sort of sense of humor about it, I take Aaron Rodgers out for the 4th play next year, and I run like a trick play with like talk. Just show everybody, hey, we want to get over this hump together. We're not even going to risk it. We're taking him out on the 4th play. Brees is going to run the Wildcat, and then we'll bring him back in to the loudest ovation ever.
That's nuts. But hey, man, before we get started, man, Kyle, please let the people know where they can find all your content at. I actually do enjoy it. I was a guest on it one time, so please let the people know where they can find you at, man.
You're most directly talking about the Student of the Game podcast, where I talk about all things sports in general. That's, of course, Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you talk about my Jacksonville Jaguars in specifics there, Wild Card. I got to tell you, Duval died with my guy Travis Holmes, also Big Cat Country. Well, I write for the Jaguar Report of Sports Illustrated Fridays, 11 a.m. We've had episodes here in the offseason kicking the past couple of weeks with free agency. Got a third one coming up here. Look out for that. And, of course, for all you March Madness people, okay, UCF didn't make March Madness, but they got to the NIT. Look for coverage of that with the black and gold banneret. I was actually at a press conference today for UCF basketball. Got to talk to their coach, a couple of their star players. Look out for that, black and gold banneret.com. And not to be outdone, just NFL and college, guys. I do work with the NBA A7BN Sports, covering a lot of Magic stuff. So look out for all the above. I'm a busy dude, gentlemen. It's good you do it at the beginning. Now I feel like we're out of time. Great being on the show. See you next time.
Hey, I love it. Hey, I got a lot going on, so y'all make sure y'all try to tap
That's
in.
you, Nick.
Dick butt kiss. wait,
Osama bin Laden. He looks like Osama bin Laden today in the ground with that crusty
but did you see how he spelled butt kiss though?
I just don't think he's smart enough to know how to spell it the right way, and that's what autocorrect did.
If somebody called me that big a badass, I'd be flattered. No disrespect.
Yeah, if you would have said it to me, Kyle, it would be a compliment. But this waste of space, Mikey Bones, and he don't take up much space. The only thing that takes up space is his 30-pound fucking head on his little Ken and Barbie body.
Anyway, typical.
Believe it or not, he's a friend.
Right? That's the crazy thing, Kyle. Those are friends talking.
Listen, if you see me in the Hut Club podcast crew, we talk more trash than you could find at a landfill. I know the life.
Mike, I can't wait for you to get supported.
No. So we have reached the top of the show where we get the roasting in. But let's talk football, because this is our draft preview series that we have going on. And I brought Kyle in because he's so close to the scene down there in Duval. Talk to us about the free agency move so far in Jacksonville. You guys actually been they've been kind of spending a little money on the defensive side of the football, but kind of go a breakdown of all the kind of free agency moves so far that the Jaguars have been making to make themselves a better team next year.
Hey, listen, overall, I've never been more conflicted as somebody who covers the Jags than watching Eric Armstead end up in that realm. And after losing Falarantu Fatukasi, one of the first big cuts they made defensively, they managed to find a way to come back and bring somebody in the building that could clog up that middle in better than Fatukasi. He was a good guy, somebody who you could visibly see statistically the yards per carry down whenever he was on the field. Granted, I don't know what the heck happened in that Titans game in Week 17. He just got dominated like that whole front did. But guys, let me tell you this. You got bookend with Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen with double-digit sacks, and you have this all-pro caliber dude in the middle. I get it. He's had some injury concerns, but considering the number he has at $17 million, where you could expect to pay $25 for an elite level guy at the position, you got to think that's a big deal. You know, there's been a lot of movement with the defensive backs. I'm personally thinking they're going to lean there with their 17th overall draft pick in the first round today. But then I also called out earlier before. I know why you're waving your head no, Nick. We'll get to it.
I want you to trade up to 10. Please don't keep the 17th pick. Let's do a deal for the Jets and the Jags right now. Jump up and take the first cornerback. Give us a 2. You can do it. I believe in you.
This is a fascinating turn of events that Nick has become the GM of the Jets. And I got to tell you, I wouldn't be against it if I was a member of the Duval proper. However, I feel like they'd be more in business to move down and get some of the other picks that they need. There's a number of needs that, despite all the big money thrown at receivers in the past couple seasons, it's very interesting to see the wide receiver spot. Now, you're talking about acquisitions. You're talking about, of course, Savage from the Green Bay coming back into town to fill in the spot for Rayshawn Jenkins. You're talking about, of course, about Gabe Davis. I don't think he's meant to replace Calvin Ridley as much as he's been meant to bring in a tall target. If you look at the receiver core, only Evan Ingram is taller than 6 foot on that group. But at day's end, I think the bigger stories are what's going on with Josh Allen and, of course, losing Calvin Ridley to the Titans. That was one where they came in the middle of the night and put the Jags in position where they turned Calvin Ridley into a one-year rental where they lost a 5th and 3rd round pick in 23 and 23 and 24 in those drafts. So that's a tough thing there that they came out with that. But let's put it this way. We'll be talking a lot about that on the Soon the Game podcast soon. But I say all love to say this, my friend. The big deal with Josh Allen, if you'll remember, Mel will back me on this too, as somebody who got a win against your Chiefs due to this, Mar.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Jones and the Chiefs played that same bit of chicken in contract time. Now, I don't think Josh Allen's going to miss games, but I think they're going to wait as long as possible to get a deal there because I believe, and this is just me speculating based on what's out there, the Brian Burns contract, things like that, that he's wanting more guaranteed money than Trent Baalke and company are willing to give. And by the way, this is somebody who's seen Trent Baalke ruin a franchise in the past. So why is it funny? It still hurts. John Harbaugh, why did Jim Harbaugh leave me? Why? I like that.
No, because you're so right. I mean, because you being a Niners fan and you seeing Baalke like literally mess up your franchise, an historic franchise, and then he goes over to a team that you covered. So it's kind of like you get PTSD. I know what you're thinking. So you're like, damn it, is this motherfucker gonna do it again? So, but no, you bring up some very valid points. I didn't see you guys letting Calvin Ridley literally walk, because you gave up the picks to get him, and at that point in time, it seemed like it was a steal and it was going to work for you guys in the future. But then you see what Tennessee signed him for, and then I'm kind of looking like, you kind of dodged one. I think so, in my opinion. So, I mean, how do you feel about that one? Because I think you dodged one looking at the contract he signed with Tennessee. I'm like, okay, I see why you let him walk.
For a man who calls himself wild card, I love your level-headed take here. The part that's getting left out in all of this that isn't being talked about enough amongst the Duval and out there in the national media is you still got to pay Trevor at some point, right? And not to mention all the receivers in the room. Zay Jones is getting a pretty big amount. The biggest man on the roster with a cap hit right now is Christian Kirk, another guy who's going to be a thing. Are they going to try to work him an extension? Is he going to be a casualty? I mentioned Trevor. Andre Sisco, their safety, has been playing to a level he's going to need to get paid too. And hey, listen, knowing the league as it is right now, it's only a matter of Travis Etienne wearing another year soon as his rookie deal eventually goes up. They could not, like you said, Mar, afford to throw a bag like that at Calvin Ridley. And for the Brandon Ayuk speculation, I don't see that happening either. Without a friendlier money deal. And I'm sure Ayuk is not prepared to give that, and I ain't mad at it.
Hey, there it is. Before we get to any more talk about the Jaguars, we're going to bring in our partner. He's been on the show before. He talks a lot of Steelers. We got the one and only PT, Peyton Tomlin, in the building. What's going on, PT?
Yo, what is good? Where we at?
Yeah.
What up, though?
He has to bring that. He has to bring that yellow-colored toilet paper with him every time he comes on the show. And I don't know why he has to do that, but there it is again. What's up, PT? How you been, man?
I am good, brother. How are you? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm good. How y'all doing today?
Doing good, bro. Before we get started, man, PT, tell them where the people can find you at. Any content you want to plug? Obviously, we got the the corporation that you run over there. Go ahead and tell them about it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a nonprofit called Turn 'Em Loose. Right, it's called the Turn 'Em Loose Foundation, man. What we do is we work in with at-risk youth in Baltimore City, Washington D.C., out there in Austin, Texas, basically anywhere. That people have troubled youth that they would like for us to come out and talk to them. So we work in the detention youth centers. We work in schools. We work with foster parents and everybody else who kids need some mentoring and some guidance. So that's what we out here doing, trying to change lives.
That's what's up, brother. That is what's up. Well, you trying to turn some Steelers lives out there in Pittsburgh, man. For some reason, you drafted a quarterback that had small hands that couldn't hold a Whopper 3 years ago, and he went ahead and shot them out. And then you replaced the room with Russell Wilson, and for a bag of peanuts, a 6th-round draft, you get Justin Fields in the room, man. Hey, there's a lot going on over there in P-Town, man. What's going on, man? What's up?
You know, at the end of last year, man, we had a very bad taste in our mouth, and our owner came out and said, "Hey, it's about time we get that confetti to fall back down in the city of Pittsburgh. Our fans deserve it." So Mike Tomlin and the con artist Omar Khan himself, they went to work. They went to work, baby. They went to work. And this is what happened, man. You know, Mason, we were happy with Mason. And Mason was trying to figure out what he wanted to do. But then Russell Wilson fell into our lap for $1.2 million. How do you let that walk away?
Because he doesn't win.
He doesn't win. Didn't they just miss the playoffs last year after going 1-5 or something like that? Russell Wilson, who threw for 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 8 picks on a team that was questionable with a coach who don't want him.
Oh man, you bought the bullshit already. Woo! Somebody bought the bullshit.
And what they set him down?
Really, right, let me
week 10, right? Wasn't it week 10 they set him?
Hold on, Nick. Let me get him off.
The team that drafted him wanted nothing to do with him anymore. The team that paid a massive haul, the most compensation ever for a trade, wanted nothing to do with him 2 years in. Don't try to sell me that he's good, please.
It's Sean Payton, man. Look, the numbers don't lie. What they say, men and women lie, numbers don't lie. Right here, one bad season, man, where he threw for 16 picks. He told you he was hurt. He came out last season with a coach who don't even want him, who shouldn't be in the league probably anymore, and still threw for 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 picks. Guess what? He made more touchdowns. He threw more touchdowns than Mason Rudolph, Mitch Trubisky, and Kenny Pickett all together.
That's not. I threw as many as them. That's not a big accomplishment. But number one, kudos to the work that you do with the nonprofit. Respect for that.
Thank you.
Now, number two, Russell Wilson and his selfishness and his making it about him does not fit the Pittsburgh locker room, does not fit the Pittsburgh fan base, does not fit what Pittsburgh football is about. This is going to crash and burn, and I'm telling you now, it's gonna be an ugly divorce.
Well, here's the thing.
They still got Justin Field to fall back on. So
thank you, sir. And here's the thing, right? He was all of that.
Hey, man, I'm always about fuck Nick. Don't worry about it.
So I'm a fan of that. He brings Sierra to Pittsburgh. They can have Taylor Swift. We're going to go ahead and bring Sierra up to the bird.
Hey, bring some ass in there. We tired of not seeing no ass.
We'll do the 1-2 step up there in Acrisure Stadium. And, but see, now he's humbled, right? You're right. I don't disagree with your take, man. You see, he shaved his head. He ain't got the pretty boy look no more. He's ready to rock and roll. His legacy is in question. And he's going to the only team who really took him for 1.2. So even if he is washed up, even if he can come in, so when he walks in the door, he know he's already 9-8. Tomlin don't go no less than that, right? So then all he got to do is 4 games, 5 games, and if for some reason he can't pull out those games with that defense that we have, with PQ sitting in the middle now, right? Healthy Mika back, healthy TJ back, right? And the draft still coming up. We still got young boy Justin Fields in the background in only his 4th year. He threw more touchdowns than Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, and Mason Rudolph. And he was with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, he's a real bad situation. Oof, that situation was bad. You got can never doubt a team with Mika Fitzpatrick. I love it. Mika Fitzpatrick is probably one of the best, or the best safety in the land of NFL, in my opinion. But So
just want
Kyle,
y'all know he know Mika, just in case I wanted.
stop. Kyle, man, let's focus on what is the biggest draft need that you think the Jaguars need after looking at some of the free agency moves that you kind of plugged in and you kind of starting to fill out that depth chart. What are the biggest needs that you think the Jaguars need to look forward to come late April when it's in Detroit?
Listen, for my money, call me a little biased, but you see how I live there in the beef. If you're looking at the video, check the background, my commissioned painting and Aaron Evans original there of me in my playing days on the offensive line. They need some interior linemen. Now, do they go and get that in the first round? No, probably not, because you need to jump up and get more, air quotes, skill guys. Like we fatties don't have skill to keep them all protected, but whatever, that's cool. So with all that in mind, I could see getting a wide receiver in this draft. That makes a lot of sense. All I hear about is how deep they are at that position. If they were opting to get some sort of edge rush help as a best available kind of guy for somebody that might drop to them at 17, I'm down with that. I think I hinted at cornerback earlier as I was pounding the table for last year. I wasn't really Bigsby on their pick like they made last year for Tyler Bigsby, and I think them picking up that certain tight end was a rather strange pick. See, I'm making bad jokes now to talk about two places where they could have gotten, and no offense, PT, but two places where they could have gotten Joey Porter Jr. and given a shot in the arm to this defensive secondary and opted to do it. Listen, I'm glad they kept it in the family for y'all. That's actually a player that belongs in the steel curtain environment, unlike Rusty, the point that Nick made earlier. But I'll say all this about that. That's where I live with those particular pieces. If you get a linebacker, I could feel good about that. But overall, I think those are the main spots. You need some beef on either side. Probably an edge would be better so you can do more with Trayvon Walker inside. He's not that you're mad at a guy like Walker for getting double digits for sacks, but that's not his job there. Mm-hmm. And Aiden Hutchinson being the pick for Mel up there in Detroit, everybody's trying to beat that over the Jags' head that they did something wrong. They were looking for a guy that could do a lot of things and stop the run. At the time he was drafted, he had to get Jonathan Taylor, this Derrick Henry guy who's now PT's problem up there in Baltimore. All of that was a bigger deal at the time of the drafting. I know you could wave it off. That's your job, but listen, it's a thing. I'm just keeping up on current events.
I wasn't worried about him in Tennessee. We ain't worried about him in Baltimore.
But that all being said, those are the main pieces for me where all that fits. I mean, let's put it this way. People are going to talk about how the receiver core was mismanaged money-wise, but when Doug Peterson came in, you had to overpay to get Zay Jones in the building. You had to overpay to get Christian Kirk in the building and have that receiver core round out to be a good group. When Marvin Jones left, you had the opportunity to replace him. You were ready to pay him, just not what the Titans did. Good gravy.
No, we got a little bit of breaking news here. Not major, but the Saints are getting prepared to sign Chase Young to a one-year deal, and it could be him looking to reset the market in 2025. Reset his market, not reset the market.
I was about to say because
one word.
Because Chase Young hasn't been worth nothing since his rookie year, and that's just my opinion. So I mean,
resetting the market. That's over here with Josh Allen, gentlemen.
Schefter just tweeted it's a 1 year, fully guaranteed $13 million deal with the Saints.
Damn, that's a hefty prove-it deal for $13 million.
That's a whole lot for 4 games.
What's up, Kofi?
Hey, you're not lying. Hey, it was weird because he went over to San Francisco and all those guys over there, and I'm like, oh, well, Chase Young about to eat. That man didn't show up to damn the Super Bowl and finally had a sack in the Super Bowl, and I was like, oh, I didn't even put him in a category to even affect the Super Bowl. So I'm like,
imagine how much money if he would have got if they had managed to stop Patrick Mahomes II on 4th down in overtime. Woo!
Hey,
yeah. If Chase Young didn't bite on the goddamn play, the RPO, he's still not able to talk with the size of the bite that he took on that play.
Oh man, it's ridiculous. So Kyle, put your GM hat on. Kick Trent Baalke out the way. Kick Baalke out the seat for just a second.
Yes, sir.
You kind of laid out some of the certain positions that you think the Jaguars should go in the draft. Give us your dream pick in that position right there. First round, Jaguars on the clock. Kyle Nash is the pseudo GM at this point in time. You got your hat on. Who you taking?
Wow, man. And see, that's the thing. I'm not trying to cop out of the question so much as I'm saying, at pick 17, something funny always happens in the draft, and it's after the first five picks. Somebody makes a run, somebody goes crazy, whatever. My point of view would be this: it would be the positions I name, and whoever is the top guy on a position that hasn't hit a run yet. I'm using that number 17 pick to start a new run on a position, basically, and then whatever went nutty in the first round, get something for value in a later pick. And I think they got pick in the 40s and then 114 after that. So, and I think they got 2 third-round picks, matter of fact. But the punchline being this, that's where that would live, is starting a new run, and whatever has had a run on before there, work with that. If you're asking me to name a particular player, I'm not going to commit to that because I need to do a bit more study on what they're better, who's an actual fit in the scheme with Nielsen coming in as the DC. I'm not ready to commit to a name like that. Look for that upcoming here on the Duval Dive. Bing! But that's kind of the way I would set it. Whatever position has had a run on it, of those three, go a different way and recover the second round.
Got you. So you must play chess in your off time because you're very the strategic guy right there. I like that.
A politician. I'm not gonna commit.
None of you are in my district. I'm fairly certain I could secure your vote. A, B. I play a lot of chess actually. So there you
how many Negroes you got in your position, in your district?
You make that joke, but I'll tell you, I've actually worked with a radio station, oldschool101.com, bing, where 2 black female judges replaced white Republican incumbents. So,
Really?
Do for that with you don't know what time it was when you were talking that smack. Where you, Mel?
Man, I never know. I just talk.
Hey, first of all, Kyle is progressive. When I told him I was on CP time, he's like, "Oh man, no worries, I'm used to it."
I've been around a lot of y'all.
You on squared because you on cannabis people time too. This motherfucker always hot.
That's a whole different discussion, sir.
That's even worse time wise.
Hey man, hey, don't let both my CPs kick in at the same time. We never be on time, bro.
He ain't even coming. He ain't even coming. He just, I think I'm already there.
It's Wednesday for Mark.
Oh, snap. I love it, man.
If I could rebuttal real quick with Kyle, the reason I'm saying that, I think the Jaguars are a team that if the Jets want to trade back, you said exactly what I've been saying. There's going to be a run on offense 1 through 9, with maybe only Dallas Turner being the only defensive player to go in the top 9 picks of this draft. Mm-hmm. The draft for teams who want defense, Latu, Verse at edge, Newton or Murphy at tackle, Arnold, the other guys at corner. The Jets could control that part of the draft at 10. And for someone looking to come up and saying, all right, normally the first cornerback goes in the top 3. Like one year, a couple years ago, Stingley went 3, Sauce went 4. Mm-hmm. So now this year, with all of the offensive guys being highly rated, whoever wants to control the defensive part of the draft, Indy, you guys, you could be jumping up to 10. It could be a sweet spot to come up to say, all right, we want the first corner on our board. Corners haven't gone yet. Let's make the Jets an offer. We know they don't have a second round pick. Let's jump up to there. And now we control that layer of the draft. So you could be patient and you don't have to jump up too high. But I think it's a good spot for us with people who want defense, and that run didn't go yet in multiple positions.
Right. No, I think that's a strong football take. The only thing that I think would stop an actual trade up like that from happening, and if you're talking about going to hunt a defensive player, I would remind you the coach is Doug Peterson, a man who's written a book about offense and is currently thinner than I don't know, Kate Moss at wide receiver. Okay, that's how the scenario is going to go.
I love it. I love it. Peyton, your Pittsburgh Steelers are not too far from where the Jacksonville Jaguars are. You guys are at 20. What are the kind of, obviously free agency has already taken place. What are some of the draft needs that you think that the Pittsburgh Steelers should pretty much hone in on before they pick at 20?
Yeah, the first thing is definitely a center, right? We gotta get strong up front. We let our Mason Cole go. They're deep at center in this draft from all accounts. So I think that's where we should probably go first. Get that top center off the board.
I give you credit for that, PT. I would have been right there too if Jacksonville didn't just get Mitch Morse from Buffalo. I think that would have been a good fit for you guys too if the Jags didn't get him. Yeah,
because at the end of the day, it don't matter who we have QB in or on the outside. If they can't get the ball to the quarterback, it don't matter. If they can't keep people from coming in, we play in that AFC North, so we play real football. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And when we're playing that real football, they coming. So I would definitely shore up that center spot. Maybe come back in a second with maybe a corner. We need another corner, even though we drafted a corner last year right after JPJ, man, and he got hurt in the preseason. His last name was like Trice or something like that. He's a long corner.
Obi?
So it could be Toby Grace, man. Like
Obi Price.
Yeah, Obi Price could be him.
Sorry, let me drop down my black card real quick.
Yeah, hey, I respect it. You know what I mean?
Let me just show that to everybody.
We're about to start rapping in this thing, man.
Honorary.
But yeah, we definitely got to shore up that front line, man. And then we're going to put Russ back to Russ, man. Just to touch on Russ real quick. I know my man giving Russ a hard time, but remember when Russ was solid, he played under a defensive coach with a very strong defense, with a very strong run game, and Russ didn't need to win the game. Mm-hmm. He just needed to hand it off and let that defense play and do one play action, some deep passes. That's what he has back in Pittsburgh. When he went to Denver, he had an offensive coach. They brought Russ in to save them. Russ isn't a savior.
No.
Right,
Russ is not a three-step drop, read, release type of quarterback, and that's what drives offensive coaches and head coaches crazy. He wants to play like street ball, and Russ at his best early in his career, we've all seen the highlight plays, right? Yeah. He was running around, he's scrambling, he holds the ball, somebody breaks deep. When coverage breaks down, he launches one deep. Sean Payton don't want that. Sean Payton had Drew Brees, one of the best ever at just catching the ball, releasing it on time, getting it to the guys, allowing them to make plays. Russ will aggravate you. Russ will make some amazing plays. He'll break the pocket. He'll throw one to the corner. They'll get a highlight touchdown. Place will erupt. But there'll be times where he holds the ball. He drives you nuts. He fumbles it. The Jets steal their win against Denver this year with Russ getting the fumble. We scooped it and scored. So Russ will aggravate the hell out of you. But yeah, I agree with the if JPJ from Oregon, the All-American center, falls to you at 20, you're at 20, right?
Yeah. 20. Yeah.
So I think the Steelers might do something that the Steelers don't do very often. They did it last year to move up to get Broderick Jones. I think that you want to jump up ahead of a couple of these teams that might need a center and solidify that, because you guys at your best have always had a good center in the middle of the field. You've had a good defense. You had Pouncey. You had Webster. You've had guys that are anchors that you can build the line around. And this kid is phenomenal. Now, if you miss on him and you go another route, Zach Frazier from West Virginia in round 2 is not too far from you guys now. That's a kid who could also, could come in and contribute and be that decade-long player.
Yeah, and they're very familiar with him, right? Because he's from West Virginia, so that's right there. But I will tell you this about Russ, man. What you were saying, the run around, the street ball. Who did we have there in Pittsburgh for 18 seasons who played the same style?
Big Ben.
Rapey.
Ben Roethlisberger. Now, I'm not comparing the two, right? Not comparing them, right? But that style is what I'm getting at. The style is familiar in Pittsburgh, right? And Russ might have to run for his life against those Cleveland Browns or those Ravens. You know, those rat birds come at you, right? So you might have to be running around a little bit.
Did you say the rat birds?
Yeah, the rat birds, man. they come after you. But if we get that running game on par, that slows everybody up.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, they might have Derrick Henry, but we do have Najee, and those are two big Alabama running backs that do their thing. So we'll see. We'll see what Russ does. I think he'll have a better career. I think he'll have a great season. Now, will we keep him past the 1.2? I don't know. It depends on how much faith we have in Justin. And we probably draft the quarterback somewhere in the 6th round. So I won't be surprised if that happens.
I just think that's I just think that is such an interesting dynamic, having Russell Wilson right there, and then you get Justin Fields sitting right behind him, because like it's like, how long do you let him sit? Which to me, and I think Nick and Mel can probably attest to this. When we first were talking about Justin Fields 3 years ago, probably benefited him to sit.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he went to Chicago and he had to play, because by the time he got drafted, and they said, "Hey, Justin Fields, you are this pick. Hey, you are." He was already the best option in Chicago. I mean, and that was just the unfortunate situation. Same thing Nick can tell you. Zach Wilson was automatically the best quarterback in the room once he got drafted to the Jets. So I mean, that's just, when you don't have the fortunate, ability to sit. He didn't have the chance to, kind of get the mental part of the game down, which is if you ask Kyle, being a student of the game, that's a big part of it too. As a quarterback, is to see the X's and O's part, not just throw them in there and try to survive by, throwing them in the fire. I just think that Justin Fields, I don't think you rush him out there to try to get him out there now. If Russell starts struggling, you need a pick-me-up, you need a spark. Week 9, week 10, and you kind of still in playoff contention, and Russ is kind of, playing mediocre. You need a spark. I can see making the change, making the switch, flipping them in there.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do that. That doesn't seem Pittsburgh nature, but everything they've been doing doesn't seem like Pittsburgh nature this year either.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard not to take Russ. Let Jalen sit. The crazy part is Jalen's younger than Kenny Pickett, right?
Yeah.
Like, how remarkable is that? He's been in the league 3 years, going on his 4th year. So he has time, and he's learning. Regardless of what we think about Russ, he's still a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and he was one handoff away from winning 2.
Yeah, should have been handoff,
right? And we be here having a different story about Russ, because now how many quarterbacks have 2 Super Bowl rings?
Yeah,
right. So
that's why I hate him so much, because he helped the Patriots win another. That's why I don't like Russ.
Jets finally commits and admits the truth. PT, let me ask you this real quick.
I don't hide my hate, Kyle. I always reveal my hate here.
Keep a handle, Nick. Proud NBA fan. I mean, let's call it what it is. You're nailing it like the Ron Jeremy of age that you look like with your awesome beard. That's what I'm trying to say. PT, let me bring you back to it. Man. Do you feel like this? Not to hijack the show, but do you
go ahead.
Bringing in Russell Carrington Wilson and Justin Fields is the effort to correct for holding on to Roethlisberger years beyond his tenure?
No, I think we were solid with Kenny Pickett. I think Kenny Pickett, there was nothing.
You got him. I agree with that.
Yeah, so Kenny Pickett was a good pick. The problem that I think as we was building the team around, I think Kenny would have had a good year. We got a new OC, Arthur Smith. Right, maybe a terrible head coach, but great offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. So I think Kenny would have had a solid year this year, except for his mental. Right, as soon as Russell Wilson walked through the door, he cowered and went in and asked for a trade. And like Mike Tomlin says, man, we want volunteers, not hostages. Right, so he asked for it and he got it.
And in Arthur Smith's defense, too, Russell Carrington Wilson and Justin Fields is a lot better than Desmond Ridder and Heineken. Okay, sorry, Heineke. You knew who I was.
So both of these guys, they're high caliber NFL arms, man. They could throw. Kenny, there's nothing special about Kenny, right? I mean, he's decent. He's a decent quarterback, but he doesn't have a big arm that you're like, wow, that looks great, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not fast. He's not accurate, right? He's not Tom Brady with that accuracy. He's not even Brock Purdy with the accuracy, right? So when you're looking at that, those are all things you have to coach out of him. But then he has a bad attitude. So right there, go ahead and give me some guys that have the talent that, once again, you walk in, you're 9-8. You're just asking them to get you past a few more games to compete with the Mahomes and that boy up in Buffalo. And who beat both of them last year? Russell Wilson. So just remember that. We can say, well, he might have lost to the Jets and whoever y'all had playing quarterback, but he did beat Mahomes, and he did.
We had Zach Wilson, the guy that beat Russell Wilson.
Yeah, yeah, the one who be dating people's grandmas or whatever he does.
Hey, bro, I see your beard is pretty gray, bro. Don't knock the grandmas. I know you probably up there.
Now this is from stress, man. This is stress.
You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with a lady that knows what she's doing.
Nothing at all, man.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little gray on some pussy.
Male is male.
I'll take a big ZD afterwards. I'm good.
I'm good.
I'll take the chocolate chip cookies.
I ain't looking at the color of the hair anyway. Don't about it.
But hey, I will say this though. I do think we are set to make a Super Bowl run, man. I said this last year on this.
I know. I was gonna bring that up,
and
I was waiting for the right time to bring it up.
Hey, we was a Mason Rudolph 2 picks away from beating Buffalo.
Hey, wait, hold on, Peyton. Are you sure you about to say this? Because I follow you on Facebook, man, and you was going through some emotional damage all season. You sure you gonna say this right now?
No, if they don't course correct, the emotions gotta come out. You know what I mean?
Hey man, y'all should have seen Peyton's timeline, man. That man was going through it. Boy, was he going through it with them damn Steelers last year. He was mad. I think I almost had to talk him off the ledge one time. I was about to DM him like, "Hey man, you gotta let it go, dog. You gotta come back to us, man. We need you, dog. We can't. You can't let the Steelers drive you like this, dog."
That was Mitch Trubisky, man. That was Mitch. Mitch was out here killing me. Hey, why do we have him? He's terrible.
I gotta add this, Peyton, to the Steelers talk. They made a mistake drafting Pickett because everyone knew there wasn't a quarterback first round worthy that year. But kudos to the organization for admitting fault, admitting he wasn't good, and we see it too many times. We saw, the Jets last year had a plan with Zach Wilson after 2 years. All right, we're bringing in Rodgers. You're not going to play. You're going to sit. You're going to learn. 4 plays in, that gets wrecked. But I love that the Steelers were just like, all right, you don't work. It ain't working out here. You're you. We're us. It was a bad match. And they found somebody to take them. And I think that is an underrated move. But it's also what makes the Steelers an organization that can constantly put W's out on the field because they're not afraid to say, you don't fit. We don't give a shit. Good luck to you, kid.
Gotta go.
Yeah, so I don't compliment the Steelers much, but that is it's a bold move to make, to give up on a first-round quarterback after 2 years.
Well,
and to just say, hey, we'll be good without you, man. We'll be good before, we'll be good after.
When you look at that draft, they everyone said that was the worst quarterback draft in probably ever, right? Kenny Pickett, traded. Desmond Ridder, traded. Sam Howell, traded.
Malik Willis, they drafted Levis the year after, right?
I don't even know if Malik's still in the league. Like
he was the backup to the backup in Tennessee.
Correct.
Yeah, he in Tennessee selling barbecue sandwiches.
Yeah, and now they brought in Mason Rudolph, who can push Levis. Don't sleep on Mason.
For real.
Right? Levis might not be the starter when the season starts.
I I can't root for a guy who puts mayonnaise in his coffee. So I like both, but I never thought of putting them together.
Oh.
I like
The
my
only one
wife
that's
and I
still
like my
around
girlfriend, but I never thought
the
of putting
last
them
pick of
together.
the draft. The last quarterback selected is the only person still on the team that drafted him. Brock Purdy.
Good point.
That's crazy.
Wow. That's a crazy thought. I would have never even thought of that. But Peyton, man, real quick, put your GM hat on. Pick 20. Give me a guy that you say, hey man, I must have this guy in a Steelers uniform. Go ahead.
You know, unfortunately, man, I'm gonna play Obama myself, man. I can't say a name. I just know we need that center solidified. And if we could do that, kind of like what Nick was saying, man, if it could be the kid out of West Virginia. At this point, they're so deep from my understanding. If we could just get a good one, which you usually get in the first round if you draft, if your scouts are right.
Mm-hmm.
And with that said, they'll probably take the kid out of West Virginia just because he's close to home and they probably had a lot of eyes on him.
Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense. Hey, just don't do a Belichick and go Cole Strange, which was still probably one of the oddest.
You look at the depth chart; he's not even on that mud.
Lamar, you know I love you, but I'm so disappointed in you that you didn't use the punt. That was so strange of a pick. Like that was there for you. I mean, it was a big block of cheese and corn, but man, it was sitting right there, and you just hit right around it.
Hey, because you hit it. You said the block of cheese and the big ear corn. I am not that cheese and corny like you. I was not going to put all that together.
I used it earlier for what it's worth, Nick.
Oh yeah, I must have missed that one.
Yeah, I did it in reference to Nick's to the tight end Strange that the Jags.
Oh yeah, but you mentioned Nick, so I kind of tuned out.
Yeah. Nothing to do with it.
Oh Mel, I can't. No, I tell you right now, man, I cannot wait for you to violate your probation.
I can't wait for you to get violated.
Yeah, this show is definitely good.
All right, back on track. Yeah, when I'm looking at PFN, they do the mock drafts. It's a mock draft website. They have your needs listed as tackle, center, cornerback, and wide receiver. You guys traded up last year for Broderick Jones. I know he started on the right. Do they have a home for him going into this year? Is he?
Yeah, he's going back left. He's going back to the left.
Okay. Now, where you're picking, there are a couple of guys who could come in and play right tackle. I don't think Talisi Fuaga from Oregon State will still be there. But you got somebody from Georgia, just like Jones, Marius Mims, who athletic. If you went for Broderick Jones, who was athletic but a little raw, they might fall in love with Mims if Mims is still there because it's the same exact thing. He doesn't have a lot of reps and games played in college, but Mims is an athletic freak, and he could be a guy that teams fall in love with because they can coach him up. They don't have to start him right away. Maybe you put one of those veterans in like you did with Jones, and as the season goes on, when he's ready, he could step up. The center, Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon, if he's there, you sprint up to the podium. Even if he starts to fall past Jacksonville, I think you guys start working the phones and say, we got to move. We got to jump the Eagles because the Eagles might be in position to take him.
That's a good.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I think the Eagles, they should have someone who was behind Kelsey. I would have thought grooming, but they might
Jenkins or Jenkins.
Yeah,
Jurgens or something like that.
Yeah. Well, we know you know about that.
That was good. That was good. Bravo, sir. I gotta talk about this because it almost slipped my mind, and I'm mad at myself that almost slipped my mind. What is the deal, Kyle? We're bringing McCorkle in at quarterback, bringing Mac Jones in for quarterback because I'm slightly confused by it, but at the same time, I'm also looking at me and you have even talked about it on your show. I mean, I'm looking at a turnover problem with Sunshine, with Trevor Lawrence. So is McCorkle bringing Mac Jones in? Is that a sign that Doug is saying, hey man, we're not afraid to bring in somebody in here to push you to get right, or like, is there some kind of uncoded message we're missing? Like I just need to understand the psyche of bringing in Mac Jones, and also how to correct the turnover issues that we're having with Trevor Lawrence.
So, first of all, this is the opportunity I have on this show to use a cliched line of mine. Friends don't let friends watch ESPN. Sir, you've been listening to lines. What are we doing here? If you look at that classic quarterbacks, by the way, as you just did with Kenny Pickett and them, the only one in Sunshine's class that's still playing as a starter and potential franchise player is Trevor Lawrence. So let's lead with that. A, B, since you asked your question in the form of a yes or no kind of situation, Bishop Bullwinkle called, it's hell to the no, no. Clear on that. The reason he's in is simply backup depth. Okay, CJ Beathard and Nathan Rourke, a Canadian football player who they had out there involved with being an emergency third quarterback and did a lot of stuff that the fans loved in preseason, were their next guys. If you're an offensive coach who has seen a coach that is perceived by many to be beyond the twilight, not just in the twilight of his career, but now obviously this close to retirement in the rear view in the eyes of many, right? Who's defensive. A guy like Doug Peterson, who believes in himself enough to write a book about offense, may think he could make him up to something to be a legitimate backup. And you mentioned the turnover issues and stuff. I would remind you, Mar, that a lot of that wasn't on Trevor Lawrence, but more of the fact that the interior line of the Jags was either not playing well or injured throughout the year, and Trevor Lawrence himself was playing hurt throughout the year when he wasn't missing games. So, no, Mac Jones is not coming in. There's nothing punitive going on there. I think move off of C.J. Beathard as a backup thing. In the words of Jimmy Johnson, the two most important people on your depth chart are the quarterback and the backup quarterback.
Oh, no
Hey,
doubt.
real quick to jump in there. Trevor Lawrence, that ankle, didn't he hurt his ankle this year?
Among other things.
Right. So he is known to sit out. Mac Jones could come in with that team and cause a problem.
No, he can't.
I think he can. I think New England didn't give him anything.
I got
a lot of people are so high on Mac Jones.
Trevor played a lot more.
Just high.
Should have.
You heard it here, first take.
Maybe
right here.
Maybe because they didn't have Mike Jones in the building, that it was Trevor that was playing in a lot of places, or maybe with the injuries. But he's not one to miss games. Hell, we were sitting through a news cycle where people were trying to accuse the Jags of not having golf carts, for Christ's sake. What are we doing here? I can't get behind that particular take.
Yeah,
we got some more breaking news actually coming out of Duval County. Now that Mac Jones is there, they're changing the chant to "Dick Grab." That's all this guy does. Is grab dick.
What?
He grabbed Sauce Gardner's dick. He tripped.
I thought he kicked him. He grabbed or he kicked? I thought he kicked him.
Oh, he grabbed. He
okay.
backhanded and swatted at it. Like that guy's done it multiple times. He was accused with another game doing it in one of the fumble piles.
Right.
So you've done that before, huh?
Total piece of shit.
Fascinated with saucy crotch. Anyway.
He's awful. He doesn't deserve to be in the league. He's a bad human being.
Nah, look. Trust me. My question, Kyle, was really tongue in cheek. I am well aware that Mac Jones is not going to compete for that job. It's just that when you see certain things, it's kind of question mark. Like, what was the purpose for that? What was the reason for that? The fact that you even traded for Mac Jones, that you was even remotely ready to give compensation for him was to me asinine. First of all, but
I agree with the one thing I will give Doug Peterson credit for is if he does that, if he takes the pack of Skittles, gets Mac Jones, and if at the very least raises his value,
that's something
where in the future you get an asset.
Yeah.
Then he's done his job. That's my.
Yeah. Hey,
I
that's
don't
it.
know,
I heard the tape.
He
man.
should
I'm
write a
telling
book
you.
about dumb.
I'm telling you.
He should write a book about dumb fuckery after trading for Mac Jones. It's not too bright trading for that guy. He's the bad locker room fit in the NFL. The team was rooting for Zappe to get the job last year in New England. They do not like this guy. Teams won't rally around him. He's just a shitty human being.
Hey, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's because New England, though. But New England ran such a tight ship up there, right? New England, Bill ran that thing like I don't know, slavery. You know? Like, Bill up there making sure that Toby ain't running no more. You know what I
go to
mean?
bathroom, boss. I go to bathroom, boss.
So when they but now he down there, like you said, Duval, he could loosen up a little bit. He could be the next Kirk Cousins, man. Just
come on, man.
The age limit with them two both being young, and one seemed to be injury prone, and he hasn't won anything. He might have looked good.
They come trade for Zach Wilson. Damn.
He might look good. He's running around with his hair flopping around, but what has he actually done to make you say, if you're hurt and this guy comes in and plays well in this new system with new talent around him? The Patriots didn't give him no talent. The Patriots never gave anybody talent. But now you got Eton in the back. You got receivers running around. You might have a line that might actually stop you from running for your life. No. And he could use that big arm he got. I just heard it here first. That's all I'm saying, man.
Hey, Peyton, is all the gray hairs? You said it was stress. You sure that's what that was?
Hey, man. You know what? I think it's knowledge. You're right, man. I think it's knowledge. I don't think it's stress at all, man. I'm like Gondor.
All knowledge ain't good knowledge.
The white wizard, man. Like,
hey, I take it back earlier. It wasn't a bad Russell Wilson take. You are just a fan of quarterbacks reviving their careers. So anybody, you just talk high about. Sell me Zach Wilson, bro. You're trying to sell us every failed quarterback.
And here talking like the Black Gandalf.
That's it, man. That's all I'm telling you, man. I'm wise beyond my years.
I don't know. They got a little used car salesman talk in there, Peyton, a little in there. He's like, no, don't worry. The Pinto is the safest thing out there. I'm telling you. You get you.
White walls are coming back in style. These white walls are going to be a hit again.
Hey, man, if you ain't got white walls, then I don't know what you're doing.
But I gotta pull out 8-track. What you talking about?
We know Mac Jones likes to grab black balls.
And Sunshine ain't doing that. So I'm just telling you, you might get a chance to at least play.
We are wild. Hey,
Kyle, favorite time of practice is shower time.
hey, Kyle, real quick, before we get out of here, man, I just gotta ask, where are you at on the progression of Sunshine on Trevor Lawrence? Do you think that he's on track, kind of what you predicted? Is he exceeded it? Kind of under it? Like where are you at on the progression of Trevor Lawrence so far in his career?
If people are thinking he's behind, I agree with them. And the reason for that, his name is Urban Meyer. All right. For his rookie year, he was mired in Urban's coaching. So now, did he come out the following year and have an excellent playoff win? He certainly did. Was he very close to taking out the Chiefs, where Chad Henne did an amazing thing, taking him 1998 yards to do his part for the first of the back-to-back Super Bowls for your Chiefs, Mar? Absolutely. I feel like that the team overall had a pretty good performance, except for the defensive front. The following year was trickier because of so much O-line issue going there. And because of that, NTN couldn't run outside at all. You may have noticed, for example, bringing Gabe Davis in, you're going to see him blocking on the outside. And trust me, I watched him do it in college first at UCF, where I wrote stuff with the black and gold banner. But all that in mind, you're seeing kind of an evolution. Now, do I think Trevor Lawrence is a top 5 quarterback? No. Do I think he has the capacity to be a top 10 guy in the coming season? Yes, depending on what they do around him in the draft.
Fair.
The best thing for Trevor Lawrence right now is to make that offense Travis Etienne. run that offense through him, get him the ball in space, stop trying to make Trevor Lawrence a downfield passer until he becomes a downfield passer. I think he takes too many big shots because he was spoiled at Clemson with everybody being wide open. And I think when he's almost like Josh Allen Jr., right? Like Josh Allen always wants the big play, always wants the highlight throw. And when Josh Allen plays smart football, hits the ball quick, hits the passes quick, gets the ball out on time, that Buffalo offense cooks. They move the chains one after the other. And then he gets bored and he tries to make the big throw happen. And he's not that great at the deep throw. So I think if Trevor brings it in, focuses on the details, focuses on going 10 yards at a clip, you'll see better production, and then that will open up the deep pass.
I think there's a lot there, Nick. The one thing I'd come back with is I'd have you look at how many drops Calvin Ridley had. That's the reason why the Jags were going to give him the Titans back. There was a lot of big balls. And listen, I know for a fact, you as a Chiefs fan, when you had that game in Everbank, your booty cheeks was clenched. Y'all should have lost that game, okay?
Should have.
Calvin,
but to your point, Calvin did drop a few. He dropped a handful, couple in the end zone. Matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And the one,
but look, Mahomes receivers ain't catch all year. Right? And they still won the Super Bowl, right?
The Jaguars didn't have 7 guys in stripes fixing every call for them.
Well,
Here we go.
Theory, but you notice how the Chiefs let the Bills back into the playoff on the strength of teams not catching the ball or players not catching the ball. That did alter a lot of stuff. And what they finished with, 11? Who here had only 11 wins for the Chiefs? They came in worse than you predicted with that group. Let's not mince words on that at all. I'm telling you, the same thing happened with the Jags. I didn't predict 13 wins for them, but Peter King, the national media, tried to tell me that. Now, I only had 10 for him in the first place, and I was off by 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think that off by 1 piece was a matter of those big plays not being done. And check out, on what was it? The Monday night game against the Bengals. That's an overtime game they nearly won.
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers, I think, is the only AFC North team they beat, and that's the one AFC North game they had something break their direction on. So,
but Kyle, wasn't that game? That game wasn't against Burrow. That was against the backup in his first game.
It absolutely was. The defense played terrible that game, but I would also remind everybody that they had the best skill group, not offensive line, but the best skill position group, arguably, if not the division, perhaps in the conference. And I think that's half the reason that they did what they did with Browning. Listen, I know PT will speak for me. They were much more formidable without Joey Burr than they should have been, right?
Yeah, no doubt. But I'll tell you this, the biggest problem that Trevor Lawrence is going to have and that Jacksonville Jaguars is that y'all have a young team in the Houston Texans in your division.
Oh, they're the division favorite right now.
And if y'all can't beat them, Trevor Lawrence will be out in a few years. That's the team. That young boy came in and he's going to change the whole dynamic for all the quarterbacks that these teams want, right?
Yeah, and PT, that's a great point. This went from being a running division where Trevor Lawrence was the best passer, right? And now you got Stroud, Richardson coming in. If he could stay healthy, like the identity of that whole division is about to flip. On that, you are 100% correct.
Yeah, because we all changed once the boy in Kansas City came. Once Mahomes came, now we got to beat Mahomes, right? Like, So teams are building and putting themselves together to compete with that guy, right? Because he's hard to beat. And that could be the same thing with the Texans because Stroud came in and we said, "Bye, Kenny." Like, if you don't look like this guy, why do we even want you?
Yeah.
So we had to go get someone who's similar to him, right? In Justin Fields. So I just say in that division, that's a very winnable division for the Jaguars. Y'all do have a problem that if y'all can't figure out how to at least be a nemesis to them, like we are with Baltimore, they're going to start looking at Trevor Lawrence like, what are you doing? You got to go.
That's the question. Yeah, I think that's a fine take.
Yeah.
Hey, Peyton, let me ask you a question, Peyton.
Yes, sir.
So you did trade for Justin Fields. He's entering his 4th year. The 5th year option is due in May, like a week or two after the draft. What's the play? Because everyone's saying, let's see what he could do. Let's see what he could do. Well, let's see what he could do means one or two things to me. You let him play this year at some point, or you pick up the 5th-year option and then you try to give him some sort of extension on the cheap to keep him there. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
What's the move?
I'm thinking they might not do either, right? They might just kind of have him sit and let's see how the year plays out, right? Because from all accounts, even though he's young and all that, right? If we got to break the bank for him, it all depends in my mind how good Russell plays. Russell wants to play another 5 years. He's only 13 years in the league, right? Ben played 18, Brady played 52, right? So he has some time to play, and if he plays well and we could keep him in that 20-25 throws a game with a good running game with a solid defense, then we could ride Russell out and let Justin go, because next year, from all accounts, that is supposed to be another strong quarterback draft. So it all depends on who's coming out in these drafts, which will depend on if this young boy gets a chance or not, at least with us. And how much are they looking for when it's time to pick him up, right? If he's a reasonable price and we think he's the starter, we're willing to let Russell go, then I'm fine with that. I don't need Russell. I just need Sierra. So if Sierra can stay in the Bird and Russell can go somewhere else, then we're good. But
let me throw this conspiracy theory at you. Let me see what you think, right? Because you say Rusty has what, 2 more years, right? If Justin Fields is still on the roster, his rookie contract would have expired, and you could get him to a second contract on the cheap compared to bringing in a Mayfield. Do you think there's some there too as well, that he'll be the backup for another couple of years, and then they'll be able to bring him in, give him a shot for, let's say, Geno Smith money at most expensive? I like the sound of that. As a guy who was leading the league in touchdowns at one point last year until he got hurt.
Yeah, I think so. So Russ is only 1.2. Russ might want 18 million next year.
He might. That's still cheap,
right?
Quarterback.
And that or whatever he might want, we might be like no, especially because we got the younger guy behind him. So Russ might honestly only get 1 year.
That's a good point, man.
Now, if he wins a Super Bowl, then it's hard. Or if he gets close to a Super Bowl, Steeler Nation's gonna lose their mind if you get rid of him.
I don't think you got to worry about that.
I think we
and it's
might.
Russ. I just don't think Russ is the one to put you over the top.
I think we might, man.
Back.
And it's not just Russ; it's all the pieces around Russ.
I get that.
I mean, we barely lost.
The Steelers have a fantastic roster, but it's a quarterback-driven league.
Yeah, but our quarterback has been upgraded. We had 10 wins, and those 3 games, Mitch threw them away. Right. So if we had put Mason in earlier, even Kenny would have came in earlier, we'd have probably won those games.
I could see if Mason in were against the Jags for their example, that's when you could have got back, maybe, possibly, Yeah. And it's not with the Steelers, it's not just the quarterback, although Nick's statement is 100% correct. With Steeler football, it's really hard to stay healthy 17 weeks with the way y'all boys play football.
Yeah.
That's why you have the young boy. And if he pans out, then Russ. Sorry, Russ, right? There's a business side to this.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your services.
Thank you for your services. And we sorry you got hurt.
One more question.
Right.
Peyton, over under 11.5. How many games does Russell Wilson start?
Ooh.
Because
If
that
healthy.
gives you a chance to see Fields a little bit. I think that I don't think Steeler Nation, knowing the fan base, knowing the blue collar that they are, I don't think it's going to be a good marriage at all. I honestly don't. And I think that he will have the fans will have a very short span for Russ.
See,
and I think that they will, you know, damn well yourself, you guys will voice your displeasure. You will let him know on the field that, hey, this ain't working. And Tomlin has shown in the past couple years, if this shit ain't clicking, I don't care where you were drafted. I don't care what you're getting paid. We will make a move at quarterback because we're not going to let poor quarterback play or divisive quarterbacks bring us down to our goal from our goal.
I don't think Russ plays terrible. So Russ is at a good point because he's coming in. He's not coming in right after Ben. He's coming in after Kenny Pickett. Right? So if Russ could put up 25 touchdowns, Steeler Nation's in heaven. right? Especially if we win games, which we know we're going to be in games. Our defense will keep us in games. Our running game will keep us in games. I think we got the NFC East this year, right? Okay, right? Philly might be an issue, Dallas might, but the other two, no issues, right? We beat Baltimore the past 3 times in a row, so we have no worries about any of the AFC North teams. They can't seem to beat us unless Joe comes back, and we'll just kick him in his ankle, right? And then we'll sit him back down.
Kick him in the ankle.
But I still think we'll get about 11 wins, right? We'll get 11 to 12 wins based off of health, of course. And I think we'll be ready to make a good run into the playoffs with Russ. I think Russ is going to have a great year. If Russ could just give us what he gave us last year, we're close to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Hey.
And to meet up to a ridiculous contract to do it.
1.2 million. Goodness gracious.
Hey, I was about to say, like, y'all literally got him for nothing. I mean, that's crazy. Right. But hey, man, fellas, man, we really appreciate y'all joining us today, man. PT, always a pleasure having you back. Of course, Kyle, always a pleasure having you back, man. PT, tell the people where they can find you at and go ahead and plug in all the stuff that you need to, my man. Go ahead.
Hey, once again, just look up Turn 'Em Loose, man. You'll see me. I'm all over on any social media platform. Take a look at the work that we're doing. I also have a podcast that will be starting to come out called Real Leadership Podcast. I would love to have all you brothers on there, and we can talk about leadership or lack of leadership or self-development or what's wrong with the world, and let's fix it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I say let's go. We can even throw some football in there and talk about y'all lack of leadership for the teams that y'all chose. That's all right. We all got choices. Decisions is part of leadership, man. We'll figure that out.
I love it. Chicago, man, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you at, man.
Listen, an honor, joy, and privilege to be aboard, gentlemen. PT did a great job being here, but it was Wildcard Mar and company that let us turn loose here to have a great show. Thanks, of course, to Detroit Mail. Nick, doing your thing. As the Jets fan in the room, I appreciate all of you for having me aboard. I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter, Threads, and Instagram at the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my writings with Jaguar Report, Black and Gold Banneret, and also the 3-point conversion, as well as my work with A7BN Sports, covering the Jaguars, Magic, and UCF sports with football and basketball. The MIT tournament is a day later as we record this, and UCF's in it. What can I say? But guys, joy and privilege. But until next time, everyone, class dismissed.
Yeah, it is, man. Hey, Kyle's a busy man, so he got a lot of content. Tap in on, especially if you're down in that Duval area, in Florida area, UCF, Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, he keeps you tapped in. Keeps
Duval
you
on Friday, my guy. We're going to drop another one there too, so look out for that on Huddle Up, YouTube or Sertoba Media YouTube. Check that out.
There it is. So, hey, man, Kyle, PT, appreciate y'all. Hey, there it is, another episode of I.O.W.
Can I just add one thing more? I'm sorry. Can I add one thing before we go? Can I just add what a steaming pile of shit the men's Duke University basketball team is? Fuck Kyle Filipowski, Grayson Allen 2.0, tripping people for the second time this season. Little bitch boy had to get carried off the court at one point and was fined 2 days later. Then he lays on the court in the Carolina game, tries to trip Ingram. You don't got to reach out to somebody and ask, "Are you okay?" if you don't try to do some cheap bitch shit. Grow the fuck up, let your balls drop, or go play with Mac Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is sports and is all sportsness, as Nick is showing his true Tar Heels fandom at heart, and I love it. Anyway, hey man, please go on over to all the websites that are listed down below at the bottom of the screen. I.O.W. Sports Network on Facebook, Instagram, most importantly the YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification, lets you know every time we drop content, go live.
Yeah, baby, the Mecca.
Yeah. The Mecca.
Yeah.
I appreciate doing that on the fly, Nick. That was tight.
That was good. I know. I give you that. I give you kudos for that. Hey man, please like, share, subscribe to everything. Tap in with Proud New York Jets fans for you Jets fans. No Name Podcast over there with Detroit Mail for you Lions fans, and of course Wild Card Chief for you Chiefs fans that I had up. So, hey, man, appreciate all the love and support. Appreciate PT. Appreciate Kyle Nash. I know why.
Lamar, before you go,
yeah.
This summer we try to get back the radio station, so y'all look out for that. We're trying to bring the radio station back. For those who know, before we had our own radio station, we're trying to bring it back, and we're looking for content. So if you're interested, hit us up on all the stuff down below.
Since I'm in this office, do you mind if I get an intern? Yeah.
Cigars.
And we know
Matt
how
Jones.
much I love cigars.
You get Matt Jones.
Those ladies have their own built-in humidifiers.
Hey, man, it's the big homie Nick Shine, Detroit Mail, Wild Card Mar, I.O.W Sports Show, man. We out, man. Peace and love. We'll see you on Thursday.